Okay, now let's look at B3. Got the same fact pattern as 1 and 2, but this time we're going to spud on May 1st, 1984, and complete it as a dry hole on July 1st, 1984. So what effect does this pooling and unitization, this 320-acre gas pool, what impact does that have on leases A, B, C, and D? Well, the well is spud in May of 1984. And lease A expires in January of 1984. So right away we can see that A has expired. This pooling, this well, or this dry hole will have no effect on A. It's already expired. As far as B goes, the well was spud on May 1st, 1984, and it doesn't expire until August 15th. So this dry hole is going to kick in the continuous drilling provisions of the oil and gas lease, and it's going to give the lessor 60 days from July 1st, 1984 to complete a well. That will be past the primary term, but because the dry hole was drilled within 60 days of the expiration of the primary term, this continuous operations clause is going to kick in. And again, keep in mind, we're referring to the AAPL oil and gas lease, Form 675, on 182 of your materials. Those are the provisions that we're looking at. So B is going to be continuous drilling operations. And that's going to hold it past the expiration. So it's not going to expire. If after the 60 days we have a producing well, great. We've got B will be held by production. But if we don't, that may be the end of the line for B, unless, depending on the nature of the clause, sometimes it'll say it will give you an additional 30 days. So you have to, again, read that oil and gas lease. C is going to expire September 30th, 84. This well has no impact on C, neither does the pooled gas unit. So this is still in the primary term. So C is still in the primary term, and B, the gas unit has no impact on C. Okay, and that brings us to D. D expires March 1st, 85. So this lease is still within the primary term. If this well can get producing, that will hold this lease because it's a part of the pooled unit. Now, notice that the well was spud on May 1st, 1984, but the oil and gas pool was not filed of record until August 14th, 1984. What impact does that have? Well, again, you have to look at the specific lease language, and if we look at the AAPL form, it says the lessee shall file for record in the county records of the county in which the lands are located. Lessee may, at its election, exercise its pooling operations after commencing operations for or completing of an oil and gas well on the leased premises, and the pooled unit may include, but is not required to include, land and leases upon which a well capable of producing oil and gas exists. So that has no impact. The fact that we didn't record the gas pool until after the well was spud is not going to have any impact. So B is still going to be in the primary term, and if there's production from B, then D is going to be held by production. Now let's move on to letter C.